Hey, Grego's here. Long time no hear or see. Yeah, what's going on in the world? The same old ISO as they call it. Well, I've decided to just hang on a minute. That looked a little bit fingerprinty. I hope that's better now. So what's going on? Well, the latest on Miss Peaches. You've missed out on so much because Grego has been slack with making videos. That I know that there's at least 2 or 3 people out there in the whole world that like my videos. I'm one of them, and maybe my daughters, they probably tolerate them. That's 2, 3. So maybe there's a couple other people in the whole world that get something out of them. Anyway, I don't care. So what are we up to? Oh my God, I just did a recap. I did a check to Andrew. I just made a video. This video I'm making now, I've already made it, but I went back in time because Andrew said after 5 minutes of viewing with the fluoros on and the strobe effect, he had mass migraines coming on. I thought that won't do. I would never inflict injuries on people, especially people watching my videos. So what have I done? I'm remaking the video right now. So turn the lights off a bit, open the door, even though the paint's still a little bit fresh, but you know, it's not exactly dust blowing around outside because we've had a little bit of rain. So, how good do the panels look? Miss Peaches looks great, but that's like skipping 3 stages. So, underneath we had PR250 epoxy, like on the inside of the doors, right? This is the process. I'll tell you how we do it. Inside the doors, epoxied. The outsides were already epoxied. Outside the doors, urethane primer. That's your finishing primer. All right, let them dry. Flip them over. Paint the inside of the doors with Valspar 862 direct gloss 2-pack. That's the stuff right there. But the thing is, because it's the budget on the job, we've done the whole car in that. So normally on the higher end stuff, we use clear over base. But anyway, this is all direct gloss, so that's cool. It looks good anyways. So where I was up to, so the inside's done. Then we let that dry for a couple of days, flip it over again, block all the panel down, and then we paint the cream on the top, like so. Cream on the top, and that you blow over a little bit onto there. You don't want any hard lines anywhere, right? So then the cream on the top. Next day, give it a little bit of a sand where the cream come over the primer, and then shoot this on, and that next day is today. So, but what else have you missed out on? Right here. Never mind the straps. I was worried about it blowing away last night, but it wasn't that bad. So, process of the pop top. You haven't even seen that. That was sitting down the back on the last video. Pop top was set up. You take the material off the canvas, you remove all that, and all the strips, the aluminium strips. Sand the living crap out of it. Get all the mold and the lichen and the moss and all that, just bloody, and just generally dead paint or gel coat, whatever was on there. Then we put a coat of Epinamel PR250 on there. Right, that's my go-to epoxy. Not only is it awesome as a anti-corrosive on my bare metal, that's what I use in all my jobs, but it's also great on fiberglass. So how versatile is that? So I actually used, it was pretty rough up there, pretty rough, this pop top, and I used a nook and cranny roller, as they call it, or as true painters call it, medis. We use a medi roller and rolled rolled a coat on the whole top, and on the top of it especially, super thick, just like troweled it on. And I think it's like 60% solids or something ridiculous, the PR250. Normally got to thin it out a bit to get it out the spray gun, but anyway, so what happened is, rolled that in and it's like filled all the cracks, the minuscule ones, and really stabilized the fiberglass. And then we got the DA out and just like sanded all the roughness out of the primer, and it sort of made a nice smooth layer. And then I got my spray putty gun with the 2.5mm tip and sprayed another coat of PR250, so double coated it was. And then let that dry, and the next day DA sanded it again. You know, just thought it was something like 240 I think we had on it. 240 is fine. And then yeah, and then we're back to the Valspar single stage 2-pack over the whole thing, like 3 coats or something, and like beautiful. So someone was asking me, someone on the site was asking me my gun setup. They want to see more like practical side of things rather than general chit-chats. Not too much chit-chat. So this is my baby, the Vilbus. It's my only good gun. So yeah, like pro spray painters be like, what? How can you operate with only one gun? Well, I don't do that much spraying. It's like low turnover, so it's fine. Clean the living crap out of it after every use. It's got a TE20 tip on it, in case you want it to know. And it's good for base coat and direct loss. And I've got a finer one there, a TE10, and that's I use for clear coat when you don't want any orange peel, you want it sitting nice and flat, and you can just bloody spray it out with that and it just puts it on beautiful. So I guess it comes down to if you're in spray paint a tray, you're trying to match the factory finish. Factory finish always have orange peel through it. Even Lexus, you know, high-end cars have orange peel in them. So it's just bloody, they got to try and replicate that. Whereas in resto work, in the, you know, in something with higher budgets, you really want to have it as flat as possible, and then you generally color sand it and buff it anyway, so it's like mirror finish. Anyway, so that's that. What else? What haven't we covered? I think, I'll show you the dash, you know. The owner is most pleased with the dash. So that's Miss Peach's dash. And I just thought I'd add the Antarctica white little vent covers as a highlight on there. Woo! Looks good. So on the front of the dash, we haven't painted that yet. We're going to... Grego's getting distracted by the sultry tones of Rufus du Sol. Previously known as Rufus, and I don't know why they changed the name. Like, there's like De La Sol and like some other stuff. Adding that soul is all. Maybe we should call Van Zelst Restorations du Sol. What? So we're talking about paint coverage. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, the trim on the on the front of the dash. We're going to paint in peach colours, and the owner really doesn't want any black. Pretty firm on no black. So I don't know what we're going to do with the Speedo binnacles black, glove box lid is black. I suppose you can do what we did on Bentley and just paint it, you know, contrasting colour, like the red piping with the red, you know, something like that. We'll work on it. So where were we? Andrew's been working on getting this stripped down. So this is the bull bar for Miss Peaches, all steel. So like all these plastic cars are going to be trembling when they see this thing barreling down the road. bloody 50 kilos of steel strapped to the front, ready to do some carnage. Yes, as you might have noticed, like Bentley's also got a bull bar, but this one's aluminium and it's quite a bit lighter. So still pretty good front end protection, I gotta say, definitely. So yeah, like for ruse or errant Uber drivers, usually in Camrys, we all know about Camry drivers, have taken over the crown from back in the 80s. It used to be about Volvo drivers. You know, they'd usually have a straw hat or something on the back passenger shelf. Forget that, Volvo drivers are now cool. Camry drivers are the worst, right? I'm just putting it out there. Everyone knows anyway. What are you talking about, Grego? So yeah, back bumper, just sanding this down. So yeah, anyway, that took some paint stripping and some grinding as well. I'll tell you what the schnizzle is. I picked up these the other day. You want to talk schnizzle? 3M discs, Cubitron, bloody 36 grit. They are beasts, not cheap. That was like 75 bucks or something, but holy hell, they last. Like, you know, stripped all the, that had like weird crow's feet and shit going on there. There's like wrong paint over wrong paint and rust and everything else, and it just bloody ripped it. So fantastic. So where are we up to? Yeah, that's it. So that's the update. I've been babbling on for 11 minutes and 45 seconds as it is. So now we're ready to fit the pop top. So it doesn't matter, the thing's got a bit wet, everything's sealed up out there, there's no bare metal, no filler, no anything like that. So tomorrow I'll get the big boys from up the road. It's handy having strong fellas, like, you know, look at these guns, they're like bloody water pistols. It's just hopeless. Anyway, so I'll tell you now, to slide a pop top on, finished paint up on the roof, to put that up there and sit it in place without scratching the roof. Good luck doing that with two people. Yeah, so I get the boys from up the road. It takes like 15 minutes or something like that. It doesn't take long once you've got it in place, and then sit it down, and then you lift up one side and you put the sealer around the base where it's going to sit, and then you drop that side down, lift it up, other side there. Anyway, like that. We have a process. It's worked well now. We've done a few, and it's just like, once you got your process, you're right. Anyway, what was I talking about? I think we're updated. So basically all the painting's finished except for the bumpers. I'll have to remove quite a bit of this black. It looks like shit paint, so we'll have to sand all that off. Bull bar's right, so yeah, happy days. Yeah, the owner of Miss Peaches also wants a roof rack similar to this, the bars to carry a long tent or something, so we've got to make some bars that fit over the top of this, and then it's got to have, this one will be a bit heavier. It's more than a surfboard, stand-up paddleboard, so what it's going to carry is a bit heavier, so we're going to actually put reinforcing underneath so we don't get any cracking of the fiberglass, because these things aren't really designed for carrying heavy loads. The load will have to be taken off anyway before the pop top can actually come up, but that's what you do. Once you got your camp set up, then you're good to go. So, breath of fresh air, Saturday, hope you're all ISOing well, and this will break your boredom. You'll just be able to watch this video on repeat. So, and it's always family friendly, because, you know, I don't do cussing very often. Anyway, peace out for now, and I'll talk to you later.